Welcome back. So we were talking about medication.
Right, because sometimes, lifestyle changes just aren't enough. So can we talk about some of the medications that can, play a role in managing artery health? We often hear about things like statins and aspirin, for heart health. But I have to admit, I don't really know how they work. Is there a simple way to, understand what these medications actually do?
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of like having different tools for different jobs. Let's start with statins. Those are like the cholesterol busters.
Okay.
They basically work by blocking an enzyme in your liver that's responsible for producing cholesterol.
Okay, so less cholesterol production means less cholesterol floating around in our bloodstream. Kind of like turning down the faucet on cholesterol.
Exactly.
And that's important because high levels of LDL, the bad cholesterol, that's a major culprit in plaque buildup.
Right. It's like those tiny scrubbers working to keep the cholesterol levels in check.
Got it. So statins are all about cholesterol management. What about aspirin? I know it's a common over-the-counter medication, but how does that help with artery health?
Aspirin is actually quite interesting. It works by preventing blood clots. Remember we were talking about how that plaque buildup narrows the arteries? Well, if a piece of that plaque ruptures, it can trigger a blood clot to form. And that can totally block the artery.
So it makes those blockages even scarier.
Right.
So aspirin helps to prevent those sudden blockages.
Exactly. It works by making it harder for the platelets in your blood to stick together and form those clots. It's kind of like adding a slippery coating to the inside of your blood vessels.
I like that analogy.
Yeah.
So those platelets can't, clump up and cause trouble.
Exactly.
That makes aspirin sound kind of like an insurance policy against those, sudden blockages. Are there other medications that work in a similar way?
There's actually a whole class of drugs called antiplatelet medications, and they all work by interfering with the clotting process in slightly different ways. Aspirin is one of the most common, but sometimes a doctor might prescribe other antiplatelet medications, especially if someone can't take aspirin or needs a more, targeted approach.
So like a whole toolkit of options depending on the individual's needs. What about, the artery health source mentioned medications for blood pressure? How do those fit into the picture?
Well, high blood pressure, it puts extra stress on your arteries, which makes them more susceptible to damage and plaque buildup. Think of it like a garden hose with too much water pressure. Eventually, it's going to weaken and spring leaks. Blood pressure medications work by relaxing the blood vessels and reducing that force of blood flow. And that lowers blood pressure and takes some of that strain off your arteries.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So we've got statins for managing cholesterol, we've got aspirin and other antiplatelet drugs for preventing clots, and then we've got blood pressure medications for, managing blood pressure. Sounds like a powerful combination. But do these medications come with any downsides? Are there any, risks or side effects that we should be aware of?
Yeah, that's a really important question. Like any medication, these drugs can have potential side effects. It's really important to discuss those with your doctor to make informed decisions. Statins, for example, can sometimes cause muscle aches, or in rare cases, liver problems. And aspirin, while it's generally safe, it can increase the risk of bleeding, especially in people who already have bleeding disorders or are taking other blood thinning medications.
Okay, so it's not just about popping a pill and calling it a day. It's about careful consideration and, working with your doctor to find the right approach.
Absolutely. It's essential to remember that the goal of these medications is to reduce the risk of future heart problems. They're not a quick fix.
Right.
It's a long-term strategy for protecting your heart health.
So it's about taking that proactive approach to heart health through lifestyle choices and, if necessary, medications. But I am curious, are medications ever a replacement for healthy habits? Can we just take a pill and keep, smoking and eating junk food?
Definitely not. That's a really important point. Medications are crucial in some cases, but relying on them too much can mask the need to, address those underlying lifestyle issues. It's a delicate balance. Medications help manage the situation, but it's the lifestyle changes that really address the root cause.
Yeah, that's a crucial distinction. So it's not about choosing one or the other. It's about that holistic approach that combines, the best of both worlds.
Absolutely. It's a team effort. Medications can be powerful tools, but they work best when combined with that healthy lifestyle.
I love that analogy. It's about taking ownership of our health and working in partnership with our healthcare providers to, achieve the best possible outcome.